Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tom Lewis, live in the News 13 studios with the latest information on our wildfire situation here in the Panhandle. Let's bring you up to date right off the bat with the Atkins Avenue fire. That's the one that started a couple of days ago just off of Tyndall Parkway and spread north. Right now, that fire is still holding at about 1,400 acres. And at latest estimate this morning, it was 35% contained. That's good news. They say that right now, at least as of about an hour ago, that was not growing that much at this point. Of course, there's still a lot of concern. There's still a lot of houses in this area. We'll get into the evacuations in just a minute, but roughly the evacuation areas are from Transmitter Road on the west boundary going back over to Star Avenue, and then from 231 south to Highway 98. So far, officials have dropped well over 100,000 gallons of water on the fire since Friday. 25 tractor plow units are working to build fire lines around that blaze. Okay, there's the evacuation maps you see. The area I was just talking about is the one sort of in the center of your screen there, the yellow area. Let's talk about the Bertha Swamp fire, the Bertha Swamp Road fire. That's the bigger one of the two. And you can see that was some of the smoke plumes coming off of that yesterday. I wouldn't know if I would call those plumes as much as I would masses. It's just a massive amount of smoke coming off of that fire. This one is still burning about 8,000 plus acres. It is growing at this point. We haven't got the latest estimation of acreage, but again, as of the last estimate, it was 8,000 acres. That one's only about 10% contained, and that one is the one that we're probably the most concerned about in a way because it is growing up towards Highway 231. Now, again, there's 8,000 acres of that one, 10% contained. Residents in Bear Creek area under a mandatory evacuation order as of Saturday. That was yesterday. The fire was pushing in from Gulf County and from Calhoun counties as well, going into Calhoun County. So a lot of problems here with this fire. This is the one that poses the biggest threat because, quite frankly, it is just a massive fire. Well, let's take a look, if we will, at the areas that are under burn bans right now. Bay County is definitely under a burn ban. Gulf County is under a burn ban. You see the areas shaded there. Washington, Walton has also declared burn bans. Jackson's declared a burn ban, and Calhoun, as well as I said, Gulf and Bay counties. Please don't burn if you're in these areas. We've had calls of a number of different little small fires popping up in other areas of Bay County today, and firefighters are going to dispatch those fairly quickly. But if we're pulling those firefighters away to do that, they're not concentrating on the big fire, which is a real problem. And again, the conditions don't seem to be getting any better today. In fact, maybe even worse. Chief Meteorologist Ross Whitley is joining us now live in the studios. And Ross, it's still pretty dry outside, although the humidity is starting to go up some.
Yeah, that's the good news today, is that we do have higher dew points. So we've talked about this a lot over the last couple of days. Relative humidity, which you hear a lot about, especially when we're in the summer and we're saying it's really humid outside. We're talking about how much water is actually in the column of air. So when you see RH and then a percentage, that percentage is telling you how much that column of air is full of water. So when saying 60%, we're saying that 60% of that glass of water is filled with water. When it's 100%, it's all the way up to the rim. Now, the last several days, we've been at 30 and 20%. So there's not a whole lot of water for our biomass to take advantage of, meaning our ground surface fuels, trees, things like that, bushes. And whenever that relative humidity value comes up, it makes burning material a little harder. Now, out there now, our relative humidity is right around 60%, which is much higher than it has been the last couple of days. But you'll notice on our cam here that you see it's shaking. We are looking off in the direction of both fires, and the wind is blowing about 20-21 miles an hour. There is a little bit of smoke, but the smoke is hard to define, which is great news because that certainly means that we are talking about smaller fires at this point in time, at least as what is burning. Now, the fires are still active, and this is the Atkins map based off of last night. So this could be updated somewhat on where our active fires are, but about roughly 1,400 acres thus far has been touched with fire. That does not mean that 1,400 acres is on fire at the moment. That just means that that is the acreage that has burned. We have several smaller active fires here, and the wind, that's the biggest issue today. Out of the south-southeast at 18 miles per hour, have the arrow here represented of wind direction. 57 is the relative humidity, so just over half of the column of air is full of water at this point in time. The evacuation map for the Atkins fire has not changed, so it is exactly the same as it was yesterday, and this is roughly between Transmitter Road and Star Avenue all the way up to 231. Those areas are still under evacuation. If you have been out of your home, it is not safe to go back yet. Officials will let you know when those are, when that is a possibility. We also have a much bigger fire, the Bertha fire here, and its evacuations roughly following County Road 106 back up to Scotts Ferry and then east of 231. Similar conditions here, the relative humidity and the wind speed. So that's why they're so worried about this, is that fire spreading back off to the north and east into those areas. Now, fire danger is high not just across Bay County and Gulf County, but across much of the area. And as Tom already mentioned, burn bans in place for most of the area at this point in time. The State Forestry Department also putting Franklin and Gulf County now in a moderate fire danger. Yesterday they had them in a low fire danger. Today they have them in a moderate fire danger. So everyone is moderate or higher, meaning that nobody should be burning anything outside. The fuels are just so dry. We're not looking at rain chances really until we get into tomorrow, and we may see a pop-up shower, and the best chance of rain is going to come as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday. Looking on the satellite here, again, good news. I mean, the Bertha fire is right there. You'll notice before the cumulus starts popping up that you can actually see some of the smoke from it right in that area. The rough evacuation zone is right through here, so that's what that smoke that you're sensing in Washington County back across northern Bay County. But I'm not even really seeing smoke off the Atkins fire at this point in time, at least based on satellite observation. So excellent news on the work that has been done there. I think that's at 35% contained, and I believe the Bertha fire's at 15% contained. We're going to continue to update you as we go through the rest of the day on the current conditions, and obviously if anything changes weather-wise on what we can observe, what we can see, and we're going to continue to update those maps as well.
Ross, the big question in everybody's mind right now is when can we expect some rain? That would be the biggest help.
Yeah, rain, a slight chance of rain tomorrow. We're going to have to get really lucky to have it placed right over the fires. A better chance of rain on Tuesday late in the day. And then by the time we get into Wednesday and Thursday, we actually have a couple of rounds of really heavy rain expected across the area. We'll probably end up with between 2 and 4 inches of rain across the Panhandle by the time things are all said and done on Friday. So we really got to get to Tuesday, and then things start to improve.
That might do the trick. All right, thank you, Ross. One of our reporters was out earlier today talking to some of the firefighters who are visiting from out of town. They said they plan to be here at least a week. One of them said maybe even up to 30 days. Let's hope that's not the case. Let's hope some rain will knock this thing down. If anybody is evacuating or needs to evacuate, there is an evacuation shelter set up at the Bay County Fairgrounds on 15th Street, and we are told that they are welcoming pets there. So make sure you bring the things that you would need, like medications, and pack a small bag that you might need for a couple of days to stay there. Again, authorities are trying to make the situation safe so they can get people back to their homes. But again, until we know people are safe, they're not going to let them back into the areas that are calling for evacuations. Again, we've promised to try and keep these things fairly short. We'll be back again at 1 o'clock with our next update. Until then, for Ross Whitley, I'm Tom Lewis.